Once upon a time, the great whales and dolphins of the world set out on an epic journey. They travelled far and wide, gathering allies along the way to reclaim the oceans they once called home. It was a brave mission, tasked with restoring the seas to their former glory. A daunting task, but with courage and strength in numbers, the marine mammals began their quest. The first stop of the journey was the colourful reefs of Southeast Asia. Here, in the tropical waters below, the dolphins and whales inspected the coral wonders of the ocean floor for signs of damage. The vibrant colours that were usually on display were gone, replaced by murky browns and greens. The plastic waste was clear evidence that humans had taken their environment for granted.
The migrating mammals continued westward to the coasts of Africa.
After months of being on the road, the sight of the mighty continent was a much-needed welcome. In the rolling waves of the Atlantic Ocean, the whales easily spotted several colonies of plastic trash floating in the currents. As they swam closer, they noticed fish swimming among pieces of styrofoam and plastic bags. Dejected but determined, they pushed onwards into the Mediterranean Sea. Here, they saw that the fishing industry had damaged the ecosystem. Pelagic trawlers scooped up tons of sea life, leaving only a trail of dead fish and empty netting behind them.
The dolphin leaders decided to take a stand and rally the group to launch a protest against the overfishing practices.
Their efforts quickly paid off, and soon, news of the successful campaign spread all across Europe. Fishermen reluctantly agreed to adhere to more sustainable methods and reduce their catch size, finally allowing the endangered species some reprieve from their troubles. Meanwhile, stronger directives were put in place to monitor and pressure other companies to follow suit. With one issue taken care of, the dolphins and whales moved on to Norway's fjords and deep bays. Here, they encountered something seriously wrong. Chemical pollutants had seeped into the water, making it almost impossible for any life forms to survive. Algae bloomed in unimaginable amounts, suffocating and strangling the oxygen needed for fish and other creatures. The mammals were shocked at what they found, and it left them feeling powerless. Nothing could be done to restore the polluted waters. But then a conversation sparked an idea. They decided to reach out to coastal communities to seek help and inform those living along the shorelines about this environmental threat. Heeding their plans, Norwegian politicians, conservationists, and citizens pulled together to begin resolving the issue. Studies revealed illegal dumping of chemicals to be the cause of the catastrophic contamination, causing outraged cries to emerge from the public. Pressure rose as activists demanded tougher laws to keep the area free from further harm. The result?
A landmark agreement extending protection to Norway's coastline and offshore habitats.
Now entire regions were put aside to preserve their beauty and encourage population growth of fish and other sea inhabitants. These ecological successes made their way to nearby countries, inspiring faith in their own abilities to similarly protect their own oceans. Buoyed by their momentum, the dolphins and whales cruised across the North Sea and headed for Scotland. Upon arrival, however, they were horrified to discover a thick coat of oil covering miles upon miles of the seafloor. Panic and chaos filled the air as the pod sought desperately for a solution. It seemed like a lost cause until... Then a lone whale piped up with a bold plan. To everyone's surprise, it involved using the power of the waves to clear away the mess. The gathered mammals listened intently, and with determination, they worked tirelessly day and night over a span of weeks.
Finally, they succeeded in their endeavour, and the beaches were free of oil and sludge.
All seemed well until they reached Ireland and northern England. They discovered a deadly dead zone that extended across hundreds of miles in the shallow waters. The dolphins and whales leapt into action, educating themselves and others on the cause of such destruction. It wasn't long before they realized the human activities, namely sewage runoff and fertilizer use, were to blame. So they took it upon themselves to set up widespread programs to lessen the nitrogen input into the waters, raising awareness on how humans could more responsibly manage the ecosystems around them. It seemed an arduous effort, but soon their results were undeniable. Government-supported initiatives began popping up and inspiring people to think twice about their actions. Overjoyed by the news of their success, the whales and dolphins turned towards the southern hemisphere. Their mission now took them to the majestic Galapagos Islands, located off the coast of Ecuador. Alas, the plight of these legendary islands hadn't escaped the effects of man.
The animals quickly witnessed the damage caused by tourist boats and fishing gear disrupting the natural flow of life.
The mammals huddled together before they kicked off another massive project. This time, they proposed to enforce a no-boat zone that would ultimately protect the area from future destruction. Naturally, this caused much talk among the locals, who weren't sure whether to praise or scorn the dolphins and whales. Luckily, the persistence of the mammals eventually pushed the critical initiative through. Eager to tackle more issues, the pod sailed back east through the Pacific Ocean and decided to pay a visit to Hawaii. What they found taking play beneath the surface shocked and stirred them beyond belief. Shoals of dead reef fish lay scattered throughout this once vibrant part of the sea. Filthy runoff and improper disposal of garbage had polluted the water and spewed toxins throughout the water column. All native sea life were gone, and the remains of coral habitats were in ruins. Disgusted but undeterred, the mammals convened a meeting and hatched a rescue plan. They devised ways to clean the ocean depths and taught the local community proper techniques for disposing of trash. Months later, the dolphins and whales celebrated their victory as the waters of Hawaii returned to their crystal blue state, and schools of fish, turtles and whales rejoined their new home. All seemed possible as news of their endeavors compelled other nations to switch to greener solutions.
Some beach cities even pledged to go plastic-free.
Pleased with the progress they had made, the mammals swam east to China's southern coast. What they found surprised even them, as the coastal waters were clean and full of aquatic life. Much to their delight, this was all thanks to China's combined efforts to reduce their carbon footprint. People had learnt the importance of sustainability and developed the right habits to contribute to an eco-friendly future. And just like that, their voyage drew to a close, and the dolphins and whales came together to celebrate. With their mission completed, they disbanded, each returning to their original homes, their hearts filled with pride and joy. Now, they proudly call the oceans their home again, safe in the knowledge that they have protected it for generations to come.